A lot to cover in today's video. We're talking news here, and we have a plethora of news. I don't even have the time for the graphics. Literally got 9 tabs up to talk about what's going on here. We have Brad Holmes talking to the media, takeaways from that. Dan Campbell talking to the media, takeaways from that. Free agency, the draft, player retiring, bringing in a player. All of that in today's video. This should be like 5 videos. Just because of the news, but we're going to break it all down for you right now. Let's go. If you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors. And guess what? We got a lot of news going on. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and get it done right now. We're just going to go plow through it through the day here, and there's a lot to go over. So Detroit Lions proposed denied by the NFL. This was the rule change talking about automatic first downs on, it was a defensive holding and illegal contact penalties, and they did not want this to continue, but it was denied. They say, Dan Campbell says, I really felt like there were some most glaring for us is the number of these 2nd and 16, 2nd and 20s, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, 2nd and those specifically, Campbell said, forget the first downs. Our rule of first downs is irrelevant. It'd be 1st and 5 instead of 5 yards first down. It's actually better offensively, by the way. Bills manager Brandon Beane is one of the people in the owners meeting publicly against the Lions rules. So he was against it. He wanted it to continue. Either way, that rule is not going to change for the league meetings. Not the biggest thing in the world, but our rule got taken down. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that it should have been put in place? Do you think it shouldn't have? Next here, we're going to get into Dan Campbell wants the Detroit Lions to get younger at wide receiver. He says, love that group, but we are fortunate that what we got last year during the season, the most part uncazed as far as injuries, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for the nature, Dan Campbell said. The group of TP, Leaf, obviously St. Jamo, those guys we have been with 4. He makes a statement here that I have been saying on this channel for a while, and it's the opposite of what we've seen from the defense. We got lucky last year with not much injuries offensively. It was kind of luck, and the defense got hit. But like he said here, we're unscathed of injuries and things of that nature. They were unscathed last year, but doesn't mean you're going to be unscathed this year. So I 100% agree with that statement. And like I've been telling you guys, the Lions are going to draft a wide receiver. I expect between rounds 3 and back, I wouldn't expect them to go wide receiver 1 or 2 in the first 2 picks. But if you're looking at wide receiver, look at the 3rd round and back. I've identified 2 players that I think the Detroit Lions could target in my last mock draft videos at wide receiver. I'm pretty much down to 1 now who I think that the Lions could target that position. And once we get the 30 visits to come in here, we've had some visits, right? We haven't had everything at this point. Then I can really lock it down. I have a really good idea of what they're going for at wide receiver. Bigger body wide receiver, 6'2", 6'3", in that range. So just keep an eye on that when you're looking at mock drafts. And again, look at my mock draft past 2 to show you about the Lions at wide receiver. But 100%, the Lions do need to get younger at wide receiver. They do. 100%. Tim Patrick is 31 years old. Khalif Raymond is getting older, and the last 2 years has been injured. And I love Khalif, but time wears on everybody. So the Lions could most definitely go to this draft and get a wide receiver, and I think they should, and they will. 100%. Next here, Dan Campbell talked about Giovanni Manu getting a different position. Yes, we drafted him last year to play tackle. And there was a hint that was put out here by Dan Campbell. This is it right here. I want you guys to listen. Man, we've talked about that. You go back right now, and is it Mahogany left guard? Is it somebody that we've drafted? You're going to put the best and let these guys compete where they're mean. When you got Manu at guard, that's a thought, So we're going to try these guys to keep it a little bit and have them rest around, see how it plays out, basically. What he's saying is Mahogany could go to left guard. Giovanni Manu could be a guard as well. Now, he would be a gigantic guard. He would be a huge guard. Can it work out? I don't know. I mean, this is Mahogany is going to be great on this offensive line, but Giovanni Manu, he came into this league really raw. Now, I know he developed a little bit. Guard would be easier probably for him than tackle. At the same time, it's switching a position, and it's something you don't really want to bank on. And that's why the Lions came out saying that they're still sorry, this is the wrong one. The Lions came out and said they're still seeking offensive linemen, veteran offensive linemen. And that makes sense because you got Manu who's developing. We don't really know, right? You can say, oh, he could translate to guard. Doesn't mean he's going to be good, right? So the Lions are looking for a veteran guard. Brandon Scherf is still available from Jacksonville Jaguars, free agent. I do think that could be a target for the Lions. Maybe they wait a little bit. I'm not sure, or after the draft. But there's most definitely. And Brad Holmes has made it clear, and I made it very clear. That's why I had in my mock draft the Lions going offensive line with the first pick. That's the engine for us. I don't care how good we are getting the offensive line. The rest of these is too important for not only our team, our quarterback, everything, Holmes said January. It's identify, man. So it's just, alone is just. It's always going to be the forefront. Folks, they're investing in the offensive line. I know a lot of people didn't like my mock draft because put Gray Zabel, 28 to the Lions. Booker, hey, he could be there too. The Lions legitimately could be drafting a lineman early. Now, I fully expect it probably within the first two picks. Pick 28 or 60. They could trade up, they could trade down, pick up extra picks, whatever. But within that range, I expect the Lions to pick an offensive lineman because we are built on the offensive line. This team that's how it's structured. That's how they have been doing it. So, and I agree, you got to keep that line fresh. The offensive line is very important. It keeps your quarterback upright. You don't have a quarterback in the NFL. You get your quarterback beat up, you're not winning anything. Look at the NFL last year. Look at how many injured quarterbacks there are. If Jared Goff goes down, it's going to be hard to win a football game. He's our starter, so the Lions going to invest in the offensive line. They're probably going to get a veteran, and they're going to draft one probably early. And then that offensive line is really good to go for a while because if you're thinking about it right now, Taylor Deckers is a little bit older. Frank Ragnow's older with the toe. So investing a little bit early right now, starting the process. I think they really started the process last year. But starting the process and continue to develop is fine. No problem with that. This here is news that we all should completely understand. And I've been telling you, he's not even going to be, I don't think he'll be ready to play till halfway through the season. He tore his ACL at the end of the year. That's hard to recover, and he's a big guy. He's a big body. 100% he's going to miss the start of the NFL season. He's going to miss training camp. Maybe we'll see him about week 8. Alim McNeill. And Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes are correct by taking this very slowly with Alim McNeill. There is zero need to rush him back. We just re-signed him, right? A 4-year, $97 million deal. Last off season, you do not want to make him come back early and screw that up because he is a player that's going to be invested in this team for years, not just 1 year or a couple games. What I love about the Lions' health and physical and wellness, regardless of, they do get injured a lot. We've seen that. They don't rush players back in this organization. They have proven it. They're not going to rush Alim McNeill back for nothing, and they shouldn't. That'd be a bad decision for him to come back early, screw it up, maybe tear his other ACL or something, because generally speaking, when you tear one, you could tear the other. We don't want none of that stuff to happen. And let's keep it a buck. The Lions are a playoff football team. I think we all know this. We don't know how many wins we're going to have, but we're going to be in the playoffs, I do believe, this year. We need to make sure we're good to go by the end of the year, 100%. We need Alim McNeill for the end of the year. There's no doubt. Like the second half of the season, that's when we're really going to need him, and especially for the playoffs. So, Alim McNeill, take your time, buddy. It's okay. What's your thoughts? Do you think that what week do you think he will be back for the Detroit Lions? Just put in any week. I'm going week 8. Detroit Lions are doing the fifth-year option with Jameson Williams, and they're going to keep him through 2026. Brad Holmes spoke. He didn't talk about extension yet. I think they're going to give him the fifth-year option and let him see what he's going to do. If he mature, and it's not physically with Jameson Williams, it's all mentally in maturity. If he comes out and is mature this year and puts up a ton of yards, they're going to re-sign him, folks. Jameson Williams is a good player. He really did good last year in developing. He's developed every year. He's a great player. His route running is excellent. His hands are now pretty good. He's catching a lot of footballs. It's just his maturity level, and each year that passes, hopefully he matures more. But they're going to pick up his fifth-year option, and I do believe they'll eventually extend him. I think he'll mature. He's going to earn his contract this year. Jameson Williams, it's not like he's a bad guy. He's just young. He's just immature. It's not like he's out there beating people up or something. But if he matures up, he'll be a Detroit Lion through and through for the rest of his tenure. Okay, we did the offensive line one there. John Kaminsky retires from the NFL, cites medical reasons. I wish you nothing but the best, John Kaminsky. So if you're watching this or if any of the Lions players, let them know. The fan base, we appreciate everything, and it sucks when you got to leave something you love due to medical. I left the Army because of my body was physically unable to carry the load anymore, and it's tough when you got to leave something that you love, and I'm sure he loves it very much. He was a good player for Detroit. Dang, it sucks that he's for medical reasons got to stop. It's terrible. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm sure he's got the willpower to keep going, but the body just it's not there anymore, So I wish you the best, man. Prayers up to you and your family. Thank you for being Detroit for the time you were, and you were awesome. Detroit Lions still keeping in touch with Za'Darius Smith. I made the video yesterday talking about free agents, and my last one I said is just bring back Za'Darius Smith. Brad Holmes is in contact with his agent. He says we couldn't afford Za'Darius Smith. The Lions, I do think, will bring him back after free agency or after the NFL draft. That's my thought process is maybe Smith is potentially just waiting himself to see what other teams do after the draft. But I would expect if the Lions still wanted to get Smith, if they're still interested after the draft, he'll be a Detroit Lion. I feel like that's the case. I don't know. It's a gut feeling. I haven't talked to anybody, but it does make sense. And with Brad Holmes saying he's still in contact with the agent, just want him at a lower price. So it's not what he brought on the field. It was not his personality. It was simply dollars. And I hope that Smith, if they doesn't take it personal, and if we do reach out to bring him back, hopefully he comes back, because that would help the Lions out significantly on the defensive line. You could have Za'Darius Smith. You could have your rookie who you're going to draft, whether it's be at 28 or 60, whoever that pass rusher is going to be. I would feel much better with the depth right there. Just need to get that depth. We can't have another season where we're just getting savaged on that defensive line, because if we are, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We got to have players on that defensive line. Give me your thoughts on the latest news today. With that said, folks, adios.